Welcome back to The Awakened Heart, a podcast for healing women. I'm so grateful you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're talking about something every healing woman needs to hear, and that is the truth about healing, and that healing, just like grief, isn't linear, and that's okay. If you've ever felt like you were doing so well and then suddenly found yourself anxious again, shut down again, back in a pattern you thought you'd outgrown, this is for you. First off, you're not broken. You're not back at square one. You're in a cycle that's real, human, and completely valid. You are fucking doing the dang thing. Don't take that from yourself. There have been so many moments in my own journey where I thought, I should be over this by now. Why am I letting this get to me? Why did I let that person have my power? So on and so forth, right? I've gone months, years, days, weeks, feeling grounded and steady. Then a conversation, a memory, something happens while I'm driving my car, or a bad night's sleep would drop me right back into grief, anger, explosive emotions, or shutdown. And like many of us, I would shame myself. I would feel bad and go inward and beat myself up more than necessary, than needed, because I was already feeling something very heavy. I thought healing meant constant forward motion, that I had to be love and light and just let everything bounce off of me and just float through life and act like nothing is happening. But that's not life, and it doesn't. That's not how healing works. One recent moment I can recall that really got me, yes, recent, was a conversation via text. It wasn't a look, wasn't the tone of voice, but it was the tone and deliverance of the messaging. And it sent me spiraling. And instead of compassion, I went straight into judgment. You're a therapist, you're a 40-year-old woman, you're a mom, you should know better. You should have seen this coming. It's your fault you're in this situation. This is happening to you. I just went into destruction mode. But healing didn't leave me. It was still there. It showed up a little later. It showed up in the underlying currents of like, no, I know, even though I'm saying this shitty stuff to myself, I know better. It just showed up as tenderness, not triumph. That moment taught me that healing isn't about staying high. It's about learning how to soften when you fall. And I allowed myself to feel my feelings personally. I didn't react. I didn't lash out. I gave myself time to process before I wanted to respond. And ultimately, after the event that took days and energy out of me, I feel better with my choices. I feel better with my reactions. I did better than the old version of me would have. Despite the fact that I went spiraling and negative, I'm growing, I'm healing. That's the key. It's not about rainbows and sunshine all the time. It's about being able to find that contentness, getting back in the flow of things after something takes you off kilter. That moment taught me that healing isn't about staying high, right? Like, it's just not. It's about softening myself when I fall. Before we move on, I want to name something that doesn't get talked about enough, and that's the difference between trauma overwhelm and neurodivergent overwhelm, and how, for many of us, they show up at the same time. Trauma overwhelm is often rooted in a sense of threat or past pain. Your body goes into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn to protect you from danger, even if the danger isn't present anymore. It can feel like shutting down during conflict, bracing for rejection, panic when setting boundaries, and needing to escape or hide from emotional intensity. Neurodivergent overwhelm, like ADHD, autism, or sensory sensitivities, is usually a processing issue, not a threat response. It happens when there's just too much input and your brain or your body can't sort it all out. It can look like noises and lights feeling unbearable, task switching, exhaustion, spiraling when there's no routine, shut down from overstimulation or decision fatigue. When both exist, and for many of us they do, it can feel like you're constantly failing at the things that should feel simple, but you're not. You're navigating two complex systems, trauma memory and neurodivergent wiring, that were never meant to function in survival mode. I invite you to do this. When you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, is this my body remembering a threat? Or is this my brain and nervous system hitting capacity? Or both. It can be both, and that's okay. Either way, the answer can be simple. Sometimes not easy, but simple. Slow down. Whatever you're doing, take a beat, slow down. Soften your shoulders, soften your jaws. Take a nice big belly breath. Soothe yourself in some way that regulates your nervous system or decreases the feeling of overwhelm or sensory overload. Humming, singing, dancing, wiggling like a hippie out in the woods under a full moon, screaming into a pillow, crying, having some alone time for at least 15 minutes or so without making any decisions. And then tell yourself that you are safe, all is well. Everything is working out for your greater good. Try it out. Healing is not linear, like I've said earlier. It's just not. It doesn't move in straight lines. It moves in spirals. The body, the mind, and the heart all heal at different paces. Your nervous system might be ready before your emotions are. Your mind might understand what happened, but your body still braces. This isn't failure. This is wisdom. Your system is protecting you the best way it knows how. Progress can look like crying more easily because you're finally feeling. And just a sidestep, if we want to be a little scientific on crying, if I could just give you a scientific base. Tears come because your brain is overloaded with emotion, so the tear ducts release to relieve the pressure. In those tear ducts is cortisol, is your stress hormone. So your body is releasing stress that you have under pressure. Let the tears come when they want to come. There is no shame in the game of crying. Let them come. Saying no and feeling shaky but still doing it. That's progress. Dealing with that uncomfortable emotion of saying no instead of dealing with the fear of saying no, right? It's powerful and uncomfortable. It's beautiful. And noticing the pattern faster, even if you still fall into it. Like my personal story, right? I know better. But I still have emotion regulation issues as a neurodivergent woman. And sometimes they get the best of me, but I still am healing. And with that healing, I'm able to notice the pattern faster and problem solve quicker. Self-soothe quicker. These are wins. This is healing. What if healing isn't about never falling down again, but about learning how to meet yourself when you do? What if every loop is actually a spiral? Deeper understanding, more softness, more truth. You are not starting over. You are meeting yourself with more grace each time. This isn't failure. It's integration. It's evolution. Let's take a nice deep breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale, relax the shoulders, relax the jaws, and let the breath out completely. If you'd like, if you can, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. If you're driving or doing something, just lighten the grip on whatever you've got going. Inhale deeply, let that belly rise. Exhale completely, let that belly fall. Let's do 2 more rounds of that. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. 1 more time. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Gently ask yourself, where have I been expecting perfection in my healing? And where can I offer myself softness instead? I'll repeat that. Where have I been expecting perfection in my healing? Where can I offer myself softness instead? So that's your question to ponder today for the week. Where have you been expecting perfection in your healing? And instead, where can you offer some softness? And a journal prompt for you if you'd like to journal about it. If healing could speak to me today, what would it want me to know about my pace, about my speed of healing? I'll repeat that. If healing could speak to me today, what would it want me to know about my pace? Pause the episode if you need to. Let yourself explore without rushing. Save it for later when you have more time. But just ponder, where have you been expecting perfection? Where can you find a little bit more compassion and understanding? A little bit more gratitude for the efforts that you've made up to this point, to the person you are now compared to the person you were at the beginning of your healing stage. Look for that. Hone in on that. That's what you need to focus on, not what you're not doing, not what you're failing to do, but how much you've gotten done thus far and how much more you're going to do because you're on a journey and you're being actively participant in your healing. So kudos. You're going to be so much more in 6 months and a year from now. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If this episode softens something in you, please share it with someone who's in the process of healing, who's in the process of understanding their neurodivergency, especially women, and for someone who just needs some help with working through trauma, understanding their trauma. In the show notes, there will be my Linktree link. There's an audio bundle for boundaries. There is a beautiful playlist for Spotify that I have put together called Divine Women. Like, if you want something good in your ears, those are the songs. Listen to that playlist. Nothing nefarious there. No sneaky artist. It's all good vibes, good energy. And I think there is a way for you to link in, give me your email so you can be on my quarterly newsletter. I do it on the seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter. So if you're interested, go ahead and sign up for that. Take what you need from today and leave the rest. You're not behind, you're right on time, and you're not alone. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.